Welcome to our video series, Conceptual Relationships of Words in the English Language. In this series, we present English vocabulary in a structured and hierarchical manner. Each video showcases a range of terms and their corresponding definitions, presented in an organized sequence from broader concepts to more specific details. The series is divided into playlists, videos, and sections, each delving into distinct aspects of the English language. To get the most out of these videos, here are some of the suggested uses. We will be using WordNet as our primary reference throughout the series. For detailed information about WordNet, please visit the official WordNet website. If you're new to our channel, we recommend starting with our introductory videos. They provide essential context for understanding our approach, purpose, and methodology. For simpler navigation, we presented an outline of the terms and relationships in one of these introductory videos. Remember to show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. In this episode, we will explore the quality morality. It covers qualities such as good, virtue, conscience, righteousness, and others. This video is part of the playlist Attribute. Attribute playlist is one of two playlists devoted for the conceptual domain attribute. Attributes are linguistic elements that serve as modifiers to provide descriptive information about another word. They convey qualities, characteristics, or properties associated with the entities they modify, enriching the meaning and context of the expression. Section 1. In this section we will explore some qualities related to morality, such as conscience, righteousness, and rightness.
Quality. Quality.
An essential and distinguishing attribute of something or someone, Shakespeare.
The quality of mercy is not strained.
Morality. Morality.
Concern with the distinction between good and evil or right and wrong, right or good conduct.
Conscience. Conscience.
Conformity to one's own sense of right conduct.
The person of unflagging conscience.
Conscientiousness. Conscientiousness.
The quality of being in accord with the dictates of conscience.
Religiousness. Religiousness.
The quality of being extremely conscientious.
His care in observing the rules of good health amounted to a kind of religiousness.
Unconscientiousness. Unconscientiousness.
The quality of being willing to ignore the dictates of conscience.
Righteousness. Righteousness.
Adhering to moral principles.
Honesty. Honesty.
The quality of being honest.
Candor. Candor.
The quality of being honest and straightforward in attitude and speech.
Ingenuousness. Ingenuousness.
Openly straightforward or frank.
Artlessness. Artlessness.
Ingenuousness by virtue of being free from artful deceit.
Good faith. Good faith.
Having honest intentions.
Doubt was expressed as to the good faith of the immigrants.
Incorruptibility. Incorruptibility.
The incapability of being corrupted.
Incorruptness. Incorruptness.
Characterized by integrity or probity.
Integrity. Integrity.
Moral soundness.
He expects to find in us the common honesty and integrity of men of business.
Probity. Probity.
Complete and confirmed integrity, having strong moral principles.
In a world where financial probity may not be widespread.
Scrupulousness. Scrupulousness.
Conformity to high standards of ethics or excellence.
Truthfulness. Truthfulness.
The quality of being truthful.
Sincerity. Sincerity.
The quality of being open and truthful, not deceitful or hypocritical.
They demanded some proof of my sincerity.
Hardiness. Hardiness.
The quality of hearty sincerity.
Singleness. Singleness.
Without hypocrisy.
The singleness of his motives could not be questioned.
Sooth. Sooth.
Truth or reality.
In sooth,
Veracity. Veracity.
Unwillingness to tell lies.
Honor. Honor.
The quality of being honorable and having a good name.
a man of honor.
Honorableness. Honorableness.
The quality of deserving honor or respect, characterized by honor.
Nobility. Nobility.
The quality of elevation of mind and exaltation of character or ideals or conduct.
High-mindedness. High-mindedness.
Elevated ideals or conduct, the quality of believing that ideals should be pursued.
Sublimity. Sublimity.
Nobility in thought or feeling or style.
Respectability. Respectability.
Honorableness by virtue of being respectable and having a good reputation.
Decency. Decency.
The quality of being polite and respectable.
Venerability. Venerability.
The quality of deserving veneration.
Impeccability. Impeccability.
The quality of being exempt from sin or incapable of sinning.
Justice. Justice.
The quality of being just or fair.
Fairness. Fairness.
Conformity with rules or standards.
The judge recognized the fairness of my claim.
Non-discrimination. Non-discrimination.
Fairness in treating people without prejudice.
Sportsmanship. Sportsmanship.
Fairness in following the rules of the game.
Right. Right.
Anything in accord with principles of justice.
The rightfulness of his claim.
Piety. Piety.
Righteousness by virtue of being pious.
Devoutness. Devoutness.
Piety by virtue of being devout.
Religiosity. Religiosity.
Exaggerated or affected piety and religious zeal.
Dutifulness. Dutifulness.
Piety by virtue of devotion to duty.
Godliness. Godliness.
Piety by virtue of being a godly person.
Uprightness. Uprightness.
Righteousness is a consequence of being honorable and honest.
Rightness. Rightness.
According with conscience or morality.
Virtue. Virtue.
Morality with respect to sexual relations.
Honor. Honor.
A woman's virtue or chastity. Section 2. In this section we will explore qualities related to the hypernym good, such as benignity, kindness, saintliness and others.
Good. Good.
Moral excellence or admirableness.
There is much good to be found in people.
Beneficence. Beneficence.
The quality of being kind or helpful or generous.
Grace. Grace.
Christian theology, the free and unmerited favor or beneficence of God.
God's grace is manifested in the salvation of sinners.
Benignity. Benignity.
The quality of being kind and gentle.
Kindness. Kindness.
The quality of being warm-hearted and considerate and humane and sympathetic.
Benevolence. Benevolence.
An inclination to do kind or charitable acts.
Charity. Charity.
A kindly and lenient attitude toward people.
Consideration. Consideration.
Kind and considerate regard for others.
He showed no consideration for her feelings.
Attentiveness. Attentiveness.
The trait of being considerate and thoughtful of others.
Tact. Tact.
Consideration in dealing with others and avoiding giving offense.
Delicacy. Delicacy.
Subtly skillful handling of a situation.
Savoir-faire. Savoir-faire.
Social skill.
Generosity. Generosity.
The trait of being willing to give your money or time.
Byardedness. Byardedness.
The quality of being kind and generous.
Bounty. Bounty.
Generosity evidenced by willingness to give freely.
Charitableness. Charitableness.
Generosity is manifested by practicing charity, as for the poor or unfortunate.
Liberality. Liberality.
The trait of being generous in behavior and temperament.
Munificence. Munificence.
Liberality in bestowing gifts, extremely liberal and generous of spirit.
Unselfishness. Unselfishness.
The quality of not putting yourself first, but being willing to give your time or money or effort, etc., for others.
Rural people show more devotion and unselfishness than do their urban cousins.
Altruism. Altruism.
The quality of unselfish concern for the welfare of others.
Loving kindness. Loving kindness.
Tender kindness motivated by a feeling of affection.
Saintliness. Saintliness.
The quality of resembling a saint.
Summum bonum. Summum bonum.
The supreme good in which all moral values are included or from which they are derived.
Virtue. Virtue.
The quality of doing what is right and avoiding what is wrong. Section 3. In this section we will explore qualities related to natural virtue.
Virtue. Virtue.
A particular moral excellence.
Cardinal virtue. Cardinal virtue.
One of the 7 preeminent virtues.
Natural virtue. Natural virtue.
Scholasticism, one of the 4 virtues, prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance, derived from nature.
Fortitude. Fortitude.
Strength of mind that enables one to endure adversity with courage.
Backbone. Backbone.
Fortitude and determination.
He didn't have the guts to try it.
Justice. Justice.
The quality of being just or fair.
Fairness. Fairness.
Conformity with rules or standards.
The judge recognized the fairness of my claim.
Non-discrimination. Non-discrimination.
Fairness in treating people without prejudice.
Sportsmanship. Sportsmanship.
Fairness in following the rules of the game.
Right. Right.
Anything in accord with principles of justice.
The rightfulness of his claim.
Prudence. Prudence.
Discretion in practical affairs.
Frugality. Frugality.
Prudence in avoiding waste.
Economy. Economy.
Frugality in the expenditure of money or resources.
The Scots are famous for their economy.
Parsimony. Parsimony.
Extreme care in spending money, reluctance to spend money unnecessarily.
Providence. Providence.
The prudence and care exercised by someone in the management of resources.
Foresight. Foresight.
Providence by virtue of planning prudently for the future.
Temperance. Temperance.
The trait of avoiding excesses.
Abstemiousness. Abstemiousness.
Moderation in eating and drinking.
Sobriety. sobriety,
moderation in or abstinence from alcohol or other drugs. Section 4. In this section we will explore qualities related to Christianity.
theological virtue, theological virtue,
According to Christian ethics, one of the three virtues, faith, hope, and charity, created by God to round out the natural virtues.
charity, charity,
A kindly and lenient attitude toward people.
hope, hope,
One of the three Christian virtues.
religion, religion,
A strong belief in a supernatural power or powers that control human destiny.
He lost his faith but not his morality.
Christianity, Christianity,
A monotheistic system of beliefs and practices based on the Old Testament and the teachings of Jesus as embodied in the New Testament, and emphasizing the role of Jesus as Savior.
Adventism, Adventism,
Any Christian religion that believes the second coming of Christ is imminent.
Seventh-day Adventism, Seventh-day Adventism,
Adventism that is strongly Protestant and observes Saturday as the Sabbath.
Albigensianism, Albigensianism,
A Christian movement considered to be a medieval descendant of Manichaeism in southern France in the 12th and 13th centuries, characterized by dualism, asserted the coexistence of two mutually opposed principles, one good and one evil, was exterminated for heresy during the Inquisition.
Catholicism, Catholicism,
The beliefs and practices of a Catholic Church.
Eastern Catholicism, Eastern Catholicism,
The beliefs and practices of any of the Eastern Catholic Churches based in Constantinople or Antioch or Alexandria or Moscow or Jerusalem.
Romanism, Romanism,
The beliefs and practices of the Catholic Church based in Rome.
Donatism, Donatism,
A schismatic Christian religion in northern Africa from the 4th to the 7th century, held that only those who led a blameless life belonged in the church or could administer the sacraments.
Protestantism, Protestantism,
The theological system of any of the churches of Western Christendom that separated from the Roman Catholic Church during the Reformation.
Anabaptism, Anabaptism,
A Protestant movement in the 16th century that believed in the primacy of the Bible, baptized only believers, not infants, and believed in complete separation of church and state.
Anglicanism, Anglicanism,
The faith and doctrine and practice of the Anglican Church.
Anglo-Catholicism, Anglo-Catholicism,
A doctrine and practice within the Church of England emphasizing the Catholic tradition.
Arminianism, Arminianism,
17th-century theology, named after its founder Jacobus Arminius, that opposes the absolute predestinarianism of John Calvin and holds that human free will is compatible with God's sovereignty.
Baptistic doctrine. Baptistic doctrine.
Any of various doctrines closely related to Anabaptism.
Calvinism. Calvinism.
The theological system of John Calvin and his followers emphasizing omnipotence of God and salvation by grace alone.
Christian Science. Christian Science.
Religious system based on teachings of Mary Baker Eddy emphasizing spiritual healing.
Congregationalism. Congregationalism.
System of beliefs in church government of a Protestant denomination in which each member church is self-governing.
Evangelicalism. Evangelicalism.
Stresses the importance of personal conversion and faith as the means of salvation.
Revivalism. Revivalism.
An attempt to reawaken the evangelical faith.
Fundamentalism. Fundamentalism.
The interpretation of every word in the sacred texts as literal truth.
Lutheranism. Lutheranism.
Teachings of Martin Luther emphasizing the cardinal doctrine of justification by faith alone.
Mennonitism. Mennonitism.
System of beliefs and practices including belief in scriptural authority, plain dress, adult baptism, foot washing, restriction of marriage to members of the group.
Methodism. Methodism.
The religious beliefs and practices of Methodists characterized by concern with social welfare and public morals.
Mormonism. Mormonism.
The doctrines and practices of the Mormon Church based on the Book of Mormon.
Pentecostalism. Pentecostalism.
The principles and practices of Pentecostal religious groups, characterized by religious excitement and talking in tongues.
Predestinarianism. Predestinarianism.
The belief or doctrine of predestinarians.
Presbyterianism. Presbyterianism.
The doctrines and practices of the Presbyterian Church, based in Calvinism.
Puritanism. Puritanism.
The beliefs and practices characteristic of Puritans, most of whom were Calvinists who wished to purify the Church of England of its Catholic aspects.
Trinitarianism. Trinitarianism.
Christian doctrine stressing belief in the Trinity.
Unitarianism. Unitarianism.
Christian doctrine that stresses individual freedom of belief and rejects the Trinity.
Wesleyanism. Wesleyanism.
Evangelical principles taught by John Wesley.
Tractarianism. Tractarianism.
Principles of the founders of the Oxford movement as expounded in pamphlets called "Tracts for the Times." Section 5. In this section we will explore some qualities related to religion.
Apophatism. Apophatism.
The religious belief that God cannot be known but is completely "other" and must be described in negative terms, in terms of what God is not.
Bahaism. Bahaism.
A religion founded in Iran in 1863, emphasizes the spiritual unity of all humankind, incorporates Christian and Islamic tenets. Many adherents live in the United States.
Bahaism has no public rituals or sacraments, and praying is done in private.
Brahmanism. Brahmanism.
The religious beliefs of ancient India as prescribed in the sacred Vedas and Brahmanas and Upanishads.
Buddhism. Buddhism.
The teaching of Buddha that life is permeated with suffering caused by desire, that suffering ceases when desire ceases, and that enlightenment obtained through right conduct and wisdom and meditation releases one from desire and suffering and rebirth.
Lamaism. Lamaism.
A Buddhist doctrine that includes elements from India that are not Buddhist, and elements of pre-existing shamanism.
Doctrine of analogy. Doctrine of analogy.
The religious belief that between creature and creator no similarity can be found so great, but that the dissimilarity is always greater. Any analogy between God and humans will always be inadequate.
Mahayana. Mahayana.
One of two great schools of Buddhist doctrine, emphasizing a common search for universal salvation, especially through faith alone, the dominant religion of China and Tibet and Japan.
Manichaeism. Manichaeism.
A religion founded by Manes in the 3rd century, a synthesis of Zoroastrian dualism between light and dark and Babylonian folklore and Buddhist ethics and superficial elements of Christianity, spread widely in the Roman Empire, but had largely died out by 1000.
Druidism. Druidism.
The system of religion and philosophy taught by the Druids in their rites and ceremonies.
Mithraism. Mithraism.
Ancient Persian religion, popular among Romans during first 3 centuries AD.
Yogacara. Yogacara.
One of the main traditions of Mahayana Buddhism holds that the mind is real, but that objects are just ideas or states of consciousness.
Mysticism. Mysticism.
A religion based on mystical communion with an ultimate reality.
Revealed religion. Revealed religion.
A religion founded primarily on the revelations of God to humankind.
Quietism. Quietism.
A form of religious mysticism requiring withdrawal from all human effort and passive contemplation of God.
Ecclesiasticism. Ecclesiasticism.
Religion appropriate to a church and to ecclesiastical principles and practices.
Sufism. Sufism.
Islamic mysticism.
Shamanism. Shamanism.
Any animistic religion similar to Asian shamanism, especially as practiced by certain Native American tribes.
Nature worship. Nature worship.
A system of religion that deifies and worships natural forces and phenomena.
Shingon. Shingon.
A form of Buddhism emphasizing mystical symbolism of mantras and mudras, and the Buddha's ideal which is inexpressible.
Paganism. Paganism.
Any of various religions other than Christianity or Judaism or Islamism.
Shamanism. Shamanism.
An animistic religion of Northern Asia having the belief that the mediation between the visible and the spirit worlds is effected by shamans.
Hinduism. Hinduism.
A body of religious and philosophical beliefs and cultural practices native to India and based on a caste system. It is characterized by a belief in reincarnation, by a belief in a supreme being of many forms and natures, by the view that opposing theories are aspects of one eternal truth, and by a desire for liberation from earthly evils.
Shinto. Shinto.
The ancient indigenous religion of Japan lacking formal dogma, characterized by a veneration of nature spirits and of ancestors.
Tantra. Tantra.
Doctrine of enlightenment is the realization of the oneness of oneself in the visible world, combines elements of Hinduism and paganism, including magical and mystical elements like mantras and mudras and erotic rites, especially influential in Tibet.
Sikhism. Sikhism.
The doctrines of a monotheistic religion founded in northern India in the 16th century by Guru Nanak, and combining elements of Hinduism and Islam.
Darsana. Darsana.
From the Sanskrit word for "toc", one of 6 orthodox philosophical systems or viewpoints on the nature of reality, and the release from bondage to karma.
Wicca. Wicca.
The polytheistic nature religion of modern witchcraft whose central deity is a mother goddess, claims origins in pre-Christian pagan religions of Western Europe.
Taoism. Taoism.
Popular Chinese philosophical system based in teachings of Lao Tzu, but characterized by a pantheism of many gods, and the practices of alchemy and divination and magic.
Vedism. Vedism.
The form of Hinduism that revolves primarily around the mythic version and ritual ideologies in the Vedas.
Theravada. Theravada.
One of 2 great schools of Buddhist doctrine emphasizing personal salvation through your own efforts, a conservative form of Buddhism that adheres to Pali scriptures, and the non-theistic ideal of self-purification to nirvana, the dominant religion of Sri Lanka, Ceylon, and Myanmar, Burma, and Thailand and Laos and Cambodia.
Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism.
System of religion founded in Persia in the 6th century BC by Zoroaster, set forth in the Zend-Avesta, based on concept of struggle between light, good, and dark, evil.
Krishnaism. Krishnaism.
Worship of Krishna, the eighth avatar of Vishnu.
Yoga. Yoga.
Hindu discipline aimed at training the consciousness for a state of perfect spiritual insight and tranquility that is achieved through the three paths of actions in knowledge and devotion.
Hinayana. Hinayana.
An offensive name for the early conservative Theravada Buddhism. It died out in India, but survived in Sri Lanka and was taken from there to other regions of southwestern Asia.
Parsiism. Parsiism.
The faith of a Zoroastrian sect in India.
Mimamsa. Mimamsa.
From the Sanskrit word for reflection apostrophe or interpretation apostrophe, one of six orthodox philosophical systems or viewpoints on ritual traditions, rooted in the Vedas and the Brahmanas, as opposed to Vedanta, which relies mostly on the Upanishads.
Jainism. Jainism.
Religion founded in the 6th century BC as a revolt against Hinduism, emphasizes asceticism and immortality and transmigration of the soul, denies existence of a perfect or supreme being.
Zen. Zen.
The Buddhist doctrine that enlightenment can be attained through direct intuitive insight.
Shaktism. Shaktism.
Worship of Shakti as the wife of Shiva.
Cataphatism. Cataphatism.
The religious belief that God has given enough clues to be known to humans positively and affirmatively, e.g., God created Adam in his own image.
Shivaism. Shivaism.
Worship of Shiva, one of the three chief gods of the Hindu pantheon.
Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism.
Worship of Vishnu, one of the three chief gods of the Hindu pantheon.
Vedanta. Vedanta.
From the Sanskrit for "end" of the Veda, one of six orthodox philosophical systems or viewpoints rooted in the Upanishads, as opposed to Mimamsa, which relies on the Vedas and Brahmanas. Section 6. In this section we will explore some qualities related to cult and theism.
Theism. Theism.
The doctrine or belief in the existence of a god or gods.
Monotheism. Monotheism.
Belief in a single god.
Islam. Islam.
The monotheistic religious system of Muslims founded in Arabia in the 7th century and based on the teachings of Muhammad as laid down in the Quran.
The term Muhammadanism is offensive to Muslims who believe that Allah, not Muhammad, founded their religion.
Mahdism. Mahdism.
Belief in the appearance of the Mahdi, devotion to a Mahdi.
Salafism. Salafism.
A militant group of extremist Sunnis who believe themselves the only correct interpreters of the Quran and consider moderate Muslims to be infidels, seek to convert all Muslims and to ensure that its own fundamentalist version of Islam will dominate the world.
Shi'ism. Shi'ism.
The branch of Islam that regards Ali as the legitimate successor to Muhammad and rejects the first three caliphs.
Ismailism. Ismailism.
The branch of Shi'ism noted for its esoteric philosophy.
Wahhabism. Wahhabism.
The conservative and intolerant form of Islam that is practiced in Saudi Arabia.
Osama bin Laden and his followers practice Wahhabism.
Judaism. Judaism.
The monotheistic religion of the Jews, having its spiritual and ethical principles embodied chiefly in the Torah and in the Talmud.
Conservative Judaism. Conservative Judaism.
Beliefs and practices of conservative Jews.
Orthodox Judaism. Orthodox Judaism.
Beliefs and practices of a Judaic sect that strictly observes Mosaic law.
Hasidism. Hasidism.
Beliefs and practices of a sect of Orthodox Jews.
Chabad. Chabad.
A form of Hasidism practiced by Lithuanian and Russian Jews under communist rule, the beliefs and practices of the Lubavitch movement.
Reform Judaism. Reform Judaism.
Beliefs and practices of Reform Jews.
Pantheism. Pantheism.
Rare, worship that admits or tolerates all gods.
Pantheism. Pantheism.
The doctrine or belief that God is the universe and its phenomena, taken or conceived of as a whole, or the doctrine that regards the universe as a manifestation of God.
Polytheism. Polytheism.
Belief in multiple gods.
Tritheism. Tritheism.
Christianity, the heretical belief that the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit are three separate gods.
Cult. Cult.
A religion or sect that is generally considered to be unorthodox, extremist, or false.
It was a satanic cult.
Cult. Cult.
A system of religious beliefs and rituals.
Devoted to the cultus of the Blessed Virgin.
Cargo cult. Cargo cult.
A religious cult that anticipates a time of joy, serenity, and justice when salvation comes.
Macumba. Macumba.
A Brazilian religious cult of African origin, combines voodoo elements with singing and chanting and dancing.
Abia. Abia.
A religious belief of African origin involving witchcraft and sorcery, practiced in parts of the West Indies and tropical Americas.
Rastafarianism. Rastafarianism.
A religious cult based on a belief that Rastafari, Haile Selassie, is the Messiah, and that Africa, especially Ethiopia, is the Promised Land.
Voodoo. Voodoo.
A religious cult practiced chiefly in Caribbean countries, especially Haiti, involves witchcraft and animistic deities.
Hoodoo. Hoodoo.
A practitioner of voodoo. End of episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. In the next episode, we will present attribution.